Good morning, fellow MMTs. 9:24 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2/27 of 2011, and it's a very special Sunday. And we're going to be closing out the month of February. It's going to be behind us. And there is a PDUFA hearing for Human Genome Sciences that's coming up on March 12th for Benlysta approval for those who suffer in our populations around the world of lupus, as there hasn't been a treatment process in over 50 years. So we must be very clear of that. There's a lot of people that's going to be doubting it. That's on them. What we're here to do, first and foremost, is cover the true facts and the positives for the suffering of these diseases and the kind of hard work that the biotech services industry does so that all humans can have a better treatment process who suffer from some kind of a disease that they work on. It can take anywhere from 10 to 15 years before we even get to this very important moment that is before us in our March Madness. March 10th will be a PDUFA hearing. The Food and Drug Administration will have to say yay or nay. So, as long as the underliner, Human Genome Sciences, has done their job, the medicines don't harm people, and that there is a process that can be treated, then it deserves to be approved. And that the FDA administration has a fiduciary responsibility to be able to weigh those facts. So we hope that the two parties have come to a conclusion where we can get a positive vote by the Food and Drug Administration on March 10th, year 2010, and for those who suffer in the lupus community. And we've covered it a lot, and this website here that you're seeing this nice work on is smfprotrader.com, and that is one of our MMT 52-week apprenticeship in our trading division, and among other things. This is what they do. So Mr. Scott, would you like to take over? And I'm going to click on this event that's going to happen here. This is February 27, 2011. It's 9:03 a.m. when this was posted. So, Scotty, if you'd like to tell what you've learned, what this means coming up relative to the PDUFA hearing by the FDA.
Yes, certainly. Well, right here we have another presentation offered by Human Genome Sciences, at this time the RBC Capital Conference. Now, those who have been following in the other MMTs know that the past couple of weeks we saw a series of presentations by Human Genome Sciences. Last week we saw them at the Leerink Swan Investor Conference for Biotech, which we also have videos that are archived that they can access on this page and at stockmarketfunding.com. And it's another example of Human Genome Science presenting their forward-looking information on Benlysta and their forward-looking pipeline. RBC Capital, if you remember from earlier blog posts that we had earlier in the week, had come out and gave their approval and update on Human Genome Sciences. If you remember, they thought that the short-term launch thesis and all of the controversy versus the racial and musculoskeletal side effects and the safety profile had been disclaimed, and that they had come out in strong support of Human Genome Sciences. That was an approval saying that the approval was coming soon and that they were still standing strongly behind it. If you look on the blog post, you'll see that a few blog posts down. And then this is them, of course, hosting Human Genome Sciences at their own RBC Capital Conference. So here we have another example in a long series of events of Human Genome Sciences and the people that have stood behind Human Genome Sciences the whole time. This is an article saying that this webcast will be out on March 2nd at 8:30 a.m. That's 5:30 Pacific time, and it can be accessed at hgsi.com.
And that's this up here. So there was another article that you had come across. Looks like it's Human Genome Sciences Live Investors listens to, but it's right here. Barclays. What's this about?
Again, Barclays, another strong supporter of Human Genome Sciences from the very get-go. And they have come out several times, especially during the whole manipulation process during the November PDUFA hearings and the AdCom hearings. When we went through all of that, there was a lot of manipulation. A lot of people, including Bank of America and Cohen, and a lot of people came out downgrading Human Genome Sciences, downgrading the pipeline, highlighting the unknown, whether it be incorrect data on anything that had to do with the safety profile of the drug or prices concerning the drug, basically creating a whole wave of fear, investor fear and panic. And during that same time, you had really strong characters like Stiflis Nicholas and Barclays, which said that, we strongly believe in this science and in this pipeline. We find nothing wrong.
Do you have a blog on here?
That would be from a few months back. It's probably back in the archive. It can be accessed through the website in the archive. All of the videos and all of the blog posts related to Human Genome Sciences are all condensed in one area.
Here's one. Barclays maintains overweight.
And this is the newest one where we say Barclays coming out again, maintaining an overweight status on Human Genome and a price target of $40. And this just came out on the wire.
Overweight and a price target of $40.
That's right.
Why would it be worth that in your view if they were approved for Benlysta throughout your research?
It would be worth that at least in the short term because of the massive change and unmet medical need that this equity would have. That's an undervalued asset in my opinion in the long term. I think what they're giving that is a short-term price target on a pop within the short-term quarter. In the long term, knowing Human Genome's historical high, the ceiling in this trader's opinion is much higher. The historical high of Human Genome Sciences equity is somewhere over the 116 area.
Well, with
an approval with Benlysta in the pipeline of between $3 and $5 billion between now and target dates, 2015, with the approval pending in Europe as well, in Canada, in the Philippines and other countries, it only stands to grow larger. With the pipeline as far as inhaled anthrax, raxibacumab, and other cancer and immuno-related drugs in their pipeline, which Benlysta Science will be applied to, is much, much higher. And I think Barclays remains this overweight on Human Genome Sciences is probably a short-term thing. And that's not even to mention its strong candidate as a buyout. Human Genome Sciences, if this drug gets approved, will go from small cap to large cap almost overnight.
And would that means that the HGSI technologies and future forward-looking medical treatments would expand itself, and therefore the earnings would be much higher over a period of time? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Very interesting. So when you take a look at what the asset value is, it can be quite amazing that they have other drugs right now in the pipeline, such as hepatitis C, not to mention a few others, that the very same type of treatments are similar, nothing's the same, but they have a niche to this treatment process that are very major life-threatening and other diseases outside of Benlysta. What are some of those?
Well, they certainly have the Zalbin, which is another drug in their pipeline, the raxibacumab, and I encourage people to go to Human Genome's website and look at the extensive list of drugs that they have in their pipeline, which deal with a number of diseases, such as inhaled anthrax, which they have the contracts with the United States stockpile, strategic stockpile, They have drugs in the pipeline for hepatitis C treatments. They have drugs in the pipeline for cancer treatments. And of course, they have the Benlysta. And that's a short list of the applications that the science is being applied to. So the value of the equity stock price over time, especially after the approval of Benlysta, will be much higher in the pipeline. Much, much higher.
Well, having said that, then on March 10th of 2011, when they are actually going to have a yes or no, they did, let's cover some of your research that had led up to this March 10th date, and why was it? And back in December, they were supposed to have, after they had their review panel, as I recall, they had a hearing with the FDA. Was scheduled to have a hearing, but then there was a notice of putting it out another quarter. And what was all that about? And is there any fear of this happening again on March 10th of 2011?
Well, I'm certainly not going to put it past the FDA. The FDA is notorious for being manipulators, and without cause and reason, many of the times due to disclosure laws and other, to extend, postpone, even offer complete response letters in many cases, and deny things which are seemingly sure bets. They have gone against the AdCom recommendations before, although these are exceptions to the rule, not the rules themselves. Human genome especially falls into a different category because of the SPA agreement that they have with the FDA, working very